And we are back. We should be back. Let me just check if YouTube have created a new stream. We are back, baby. This SIM card is a little better when I'm walking around. The other SIM card is better at the protest because there's a lot of people using the mobile internet. And the SIM card I use there, it's not connected to any of the mobile operators. It's running on a separate network. It's not on any of the mobile operators. So when everybody is streaming, it doesn't affect me. But all the people there, they can barely stream because there are so many people using the internet. So that's why the BCTV, it's such a bad stream there, because everybody is using the internet on their mobile network. But I have a SIM card, it's not connected to any of them. But it's not always so good when you're walking around. But when you are someplace where everybody is using the mobile internet, then it's the only one that works, basically. It keeps raining, it's so annoying. Can I sit here somewhere? No sitting. So, where are the other guys that were complaining? Sean, do you have anything to cry about? I have to cut my hair, but I don't really want to go completely bald in the protest because they're gonna think I'm a skinhead or something, and the police are gonna be on me more. Right now it's pretty cool at the protest when I have this camera gear. They think I'm from some media and they are pretty afraid of me, the police. They only show me the utmost respect. I'm basically used to police always suspecting me of all kinds of things. But when I'm walking around with this camera gear, then I'm the police. They're the criminals. I'm filming them and they are scared of the camera. So I kind of become more the police than they are. I'm also drinking beer if that's any comfort. Yes, Beyond 2.0, 3.0. So it was an interesting day today for the people that are just joining in. This is a continuation of my former stream. I just had another stream running. Maybe you cannot see it on YouTube currently because it's processing, but I had to change the connections because the connection was very bad. So I changed the connection and it created a new stream, and I can see some new people are here now. But I've actually been out all day at a protest. I've been walking around and things. So this is a continuation of that other stream. So you're just joining into something that people have been watching for 4 or 5 hours or something. Actually, I had like 50 people watching me today. Every day it's been like it topped like at 90 people watching me at the protest. So it's huge for me. I usually don't have more than 4, 5, 7 people watching. But the last couple of days, every day I've had like in average like 50 people watching, and maxed out at 98 or something watching me. So that's been amazing, basically. And my subs has almost doubled, in the last couple of days. So subs is going up, viewers are going up. I'm gonna become the new content king soon. I'm not really getting a lot from Twitch or D-Live, but it's good to have because sometimes the sound goes out of sync and people can jump over to Twitch or D-Live. But I'm not really counting much on them. They don't give much. People don't use Twitch for finding these kinds of streams, apparently. They just watch games on Twitch. But YouTube is where people search for all kinds of information. So where there's like people are just falling into my stream. I have so many new Bulgarian viewers. I didn't even want to stream to Bulgarians. My idea was that almost no Bulgarians should be watching my stream. I would just make it for people all around the. I started wanting to make streams for Danish people only, and then I moved to English because some people from America started coming, and now there's a lot of Bulgarians also joining in after the protests. So there's probably as many Bulgarians. I probably have as many Bulgarian subscribers as I have from other countries now. The protests are over for today, and tomorrow it's gonna be raining, and the next day, so they're probably first gonna continue again on Monday, and I won't be able to stream when it's raining, so I'm not gonna be able to stream, tomorrow, and there's not really gonna be a lot of protesters protesting when it's raining. No revolution ever happened during the rain, so. So maybe that's why our Prime Minister Boyko, he's not stepping down, because he saw the weather forecast, so he knows there's rain coming, and he knows the protest is gonna die down with the rain, and he's hoping that it doesn't come up again on Monday. There will probably be mass arrests on Saturday and Sunday. They're gonna arrest a lot of people that threw bottles at the protest, and they're gonna try to kill the protest during the weekend, so it doesn't grow up on Monday again. But I really hope it continues, because I'm getting so many viewers. I have never had so many viewers and so many subscribers. Today we did something really interesting. After the protests, some person had put a comment on one of my videos. He told me where the police lived, because they are bringing in police from small cities, village people police. They are from villages, and they bring them into the protest, and they put them in this 4-star, very expensive hotel. And because of the comment, I knew which hotel it was, so we went there. We did some night stalking. I sat outside of the hotel and filming the police coming into the hotel. All of them had bags with food. They bought cheap food outside of the hotel because they get a very low salary here. So we caught them going into the hotel with bags of food, and it may actually be some kind of scandal that they are put in this expensive hotel, and I'm the only journalist there. I'm the only investigative independent journalist there. There was no other journalist documenting this. I'm the only one, so this might be huge actually. That we caught this. It might, be a huge scandal. Papers might write about my live stream. They already did, but not in Bulgaria. In Macedonia, I found one of my protest stream. A lot of people from Macedonia was coming in, from some kind of newspaper, and I looked up the newspaper. And I found an article about the protests in Bulgaria, and they had put my live stream in the article. So that's why people were coming from Macedonia to my live stream, because a big newspaper in Macedonia wrote about the protests, and they put my live stream there. So that was pretty interesting. So if this continues, these protests, I'm gonna be maybe the biggest YouTuber in Bulgaria in a month or so. They could continue for months, these protests, and if it keeps going, I'm gonna be the biggest YouTuber in Bulgaria, in no time. because I'm getting such a huge growth from these protests, so it is pretty possible that I could become very famous here in Bulgaria because of these protests, because I cover them so good. My quality is very high, and I just don't stand around like the normal press and just watch from one point. I walk around deep in the protests. I even got my camera and gimbal hit by a bottle. It almost trashed my gimbal, but magically it survived. So the growth is phenomenal the last couple of days. And the interesting thing, I don't really have any haters. I actually want to have some haters, but for some reason people don't really hate me. But I think it's good to have haters, because the more haters you have, the more subscribers you will get. They will magically bring you new subscribers. So, but I don't really have any haters, but I'm really hoping to get some haters, because it actually helps grow your channel. Are we playing the Netanyahu games again? Free Palestine. I have told you this. Palestine needs to be free. When we free Palestine, then the world will be a new place. With a free Palestine, there will be world peace. There will be no terrorism. There will be no ISIS. We just have to do this one thing. We need to free Palestine, and it will change the world totally. But that's the only thing that we can do. It's the only thing that the world cannot come to terms around. So that is the main problem in world peace, and a lot of people don't recognize it. It's this one thing. It's called Palestine, and when Palestine gets freed, then there will be world peace. Yeah, I've actually already proved today in my stream that the Earth is flat. I have already proved it. It's 100% proved. I will prove it again, but I have a full water. So when I drink half of the water, remind me again, and then I will prove to you that the Earth is flat. I have to drink a little bit of this, and then I can prove again, that the Earth is flat. Because we need this bottle. With this bottle, I can prove that the Earth is flat. I only need this bottle, but it needs to be around half full before I can prove it. So remind me again in a little while. Yes, I will explain. I will show you that the Earth is flat. I can show you with this bottle here that the Earth is flat. But I need to, let me drink some, okay. Let me drink some water, and I will see if I can prove to you. Yes, I can actually prove it to you right now that the Earth is flat. So I will give you proof that cannot be denied. Can you see why the Earth is flat? Can you see it? Look closely. This is 100% proof that the Earth is flat. You cannot deny it. Can you see it? Or do I have to explain it to you? You want an explanation? Or what? Are you so dumb that you need to have this explained to you? See, you're not understanding it. Can you see this here? Can you see that the bottle is curving? It's a curved bottle. This is like the Earth here, you know, it's curved like the Earth. But look at the water. Is the water also curved? The water is not curved. Can you see that the water is flat? The water is flat, but the bottle is curved. So what does this mean when the bottle here is curved, but the water is flat? So this means if the Earth was round on the Earth, the water would just continue. Can you see? It would just continue. It would be flat. The water does not bend. You cannot bend water. Water is always flat. So if the world is curving, you know, then the water would continue outside of the Earth, like here you could see. If it was curved, you know, it's curved, but the water does not curve with the curve. It just keeps going. So if the Earth was round, the water would fall out of the Earth actually. So the Earth cannot be round, because if the Earth was round, you know, the water would just continue and fall out of the Earth. It cannot bend, it cannot curve. So you see pictures of a round Earth and you see the water bending. That's fake pictures. If you Google right now planet Earth and you look really closely at the pictures, you can see that they are actually computer generated, and it's actually been admitted by a NASA scientist that all pictures of Earth are manipulated or computer generated. They are not one picture. Google planet Earth, Google it and watch the picture, and you can actually see that it's computer made. It's not a picture. It's manipulated on a computer. Once you understand, there is not one picture of the Earth. There is not one real picture. There's just a picture of the Earth. It doesn't. They always manipulate the picture, you know, and they say it's because it looks more real when we manipulate, when we fix it up a little bit, fix the colors and things like that, fix the lighting, so it looks more real when they fix it up. But actually, there's not a real just picture of the Earth. It doesn't exist. Google planet Earth. There's not one picture, you know. Why would it? People start talking about the moon landing. What kind of idiots are you? In 1962, you think that NASA went to the moon? The moon. NASA never went to the moon. You are retards if you think that NASA went to the moon. To the moon. Look up what happened to the original moon footage. It doesn't exist. NASA accidentally deleted all the original moon footage. Look it up. NASA accidentally deleted all the original moon footage, so you cannot investigate if it was fake. You can only find copies of the moon footage. The real moon footage is deleted. It doesn't exist anymore. NASA claims it accidentally deleted the most important footage of the world, or they claim they needed to use the tapes or something. I'm not really sure what they're claiming, but they don't have the original moon landing photos, moon landing footage, and all the original footage. It's all deleted, and you still talk about the moon landing. There's also a documentary, a real documentary, not some crazy conspiracies. They say that the moon landing, it was actually made to show the Russians that USA were best. It was at a point where the US were in a good fight with the Soviet of becoming the first. The Soviet made the first rocket. The Soviet had the first man in space. The Soviet made the first round trip around Earth. The Soviet was so much in front, and suddenly America lands on the moon. It was just fake, it was fake to win over the Soviet Union, to show that America was the best of the best, but they never actually did it. It was pure propaganda just to show the Soviet Union. It was back then where America still had the propaganda ministerium. So they did all this propaganda just to show the Soviet that they were better, but it's not true at all. It was just a propaganda stunt. And I can't imagine that people on the internet, you are smart people, you're on the internet, you are on YouTube, you have seen all this shit, and you still think the moon landing is real, man. And people talking about Mars right now. Elon Musk is the next deep state super agent. They're just doing it's all fake. You saw the car he put up in space. It was all fake. The car that Elon Musk put up in space. There were no stars behind the car. He's part of the propaganda machine, and that's why Elon Musk has gone full Trump. He's part of the deep state. People think that Trump is not part of the deep state. Trump is the deep state. It's all a game. They're playing. I'm fighting the deep state, and I'm against the deep. It's all fake of America. If you're not, people thinking that Trump is draining the swamp. Trump is draining the swamp. How did he get there? You cannot get to that place. Look at his history. He's been part of the swamp his whole life. Trump is the swamp. He's connected to all the swamp people. He's part of the big business of everybody that's connected to building buildings. They are all connected with corrupt politicians. Everybody that's building many buildings, they are always connected to all the corrupt politicians, to the deep state, to people in government. He's a deep state agent from the start. That's just the game he plays to get people. I thought you people were smart from IP2, but it seems you are retards. Like the average American. There are smart Americans, but the average American is a retard. There's no question about that. And you know it very well. Some of these guys that's trying to troll me, they're from some kind of a hate community, and they think they are really smart, but it turns out they are not that smart at all, They think that the earth is round, I've just proven it, You can see right here. I only need a bottle to prove it, and no scientist wants to discuss with any flat earther. Not one scientist, because they know they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose every time. The thing is, there is no scientific evidence that the earth is round. No scientific. It's only a belief system. It's what you've been taught from small. The first thing you got shown in first grade is the globe. This is the globe. This is the earth that we live in, but it's never been proven. But this is the earth. You get shown this earth, and that's where you get it. All scientists that's alive today, they saw the globe at first grade. This is the globe. That's where the mind starts to get closed. That's where the deception begins. This is the first time that the deep state lies for you. It's at first grade when they show you the globe. Your mind is formed from a very little child. Is formed by this globe that you see in front of you. Here you are presented with this globe. This is the globe. And there's no discussing it, they tell you a story that once they thought it was flat, but then it turns out it was round, Christopher Columbus rode around the world and proved that it was round. And people were killed for saying it was round. But it was actually right, it is flat, and they imagined to convince people that it was round. They changed the reality. The truth was, once they knew that the earth was flat, they knew it. And then the Masons, they change it, They start by, if they change the basic of your reality, they start with the basis of your reality. If they change that, they can lie with everything. They can manipulate everything. If they change your basis for everything, the earth is round or flat, then everything is then it's possible to manipulate everything, basically. Yeah, but how can he float around the earth when I'm showing you right now? It's proven. I only need a bottle to prove it. Some people, I only need a bottle. I don't need advanced equipment or 100 scientists. This is scientific proof right here. It's in front of your eyes. Everybody can do this experiment. Take a bottle that bends, and look at the water. It's flat. It doesn't matter how it bends. It could bend like this, and it will still be flat. It can go around. The water is always flat. The water does not curve. So if the water does not curve, how are you believing the pictures of a round world where water is curved around the globe? Water cannot curve, so it's impossible. It's impossible that the earth pictures are real, because water cannot curve. It's proven right here. Do you see any curves in the water? It's flat, completely flat, 100% flat. Look how flat it is. 100% flat. But the ball is curving a lot. It doesn't seem like it's curving a lot. Look how flat it is. It's completely flat. I don't care. I only need to convince one person, Yeah, the flat earth propaganda will be used to control the people too. So that's also kind of the game, you know. They put different theories just to mess with your mind, you know. And it's better actually that there are two fighting sides, you know, flat Earth and round Earth. It makes it all easier to control, you know. If it's actually better for them that there are two opposing views, that's what they want, you know. Like in America, there's two opposing parties. That makes it all easier to control, you know. Nobody can agree on everything, but we must agree to disagree, and it's all a discussion, you know. So that's part of the game, the Freemason game, to control your mind, 3D chess with your mind, you know. The opposing views, it always has to be there, you know. We cannot agree on everything. There's no facts, no reality, you know. Everything is just, you know, an opinion, you know. You guys also don't see how many you think I'm losing viewers. They're jumping between the platforms. So I have viewers right now on Twitch, on DLive, on Periscope, and on Mixer, and on YouTube. So I can see them all here. You know, I have a lot of viewers right now. I have many viewers, but you are only looking at those on YouTube. But I actually have a lot of viewers watching right now from all the different platforms. So I'm also playing this game, Divide and Conquer. I'm keeping you on different platforms, you know. I'm dividing and conquering your mind, basically. I'm actually waiting for the phone to charge a little bit, and then I will continue. Let me see if it's still raining. Chaga marijuana thing. Do I go get another beer? What do we say? One in chat if I get another beer. Two if I just go home and no more beer for me. Should I get another beer? Should I go back and get another beer? Okay, we're getting one more beer then. Chat has decided. We're just leaving the bottle here for the next generations, the empty bottle. I have to go back to get it because just farted. I have to walk the dogs when I get home, but the good thing is I woke up today at around 4 or 5 o'clock, so I can walk the dogs at around 4 or 5 o'clock, no problem, so I don't have to hurry home. So we're gonna go back and get one more beer. I'm gonna get pretty drunk because I don't drink that much. I only drink when I stream. Thinking if I should get a Danish beer, but no, I'm actually not gonna get. They are really shit beer, the Danish beer. Björn is also always complaining about the Danish beer, so I've also noticed it's a really shitty beer, compared to the Bulgarian beer. It's really shitty actually. I'm getting the coronas maybe. All this day at the protest I've been around so many people all the time, and the corona numbers are climbing and climbing here in Bulgaria. So it's bigger than ever, corona. Even they did all the lockdown and now they have opened up again, and the numbers now are bigger than when they locked everything down. So there's much more corona now, and I'm walking around all day in the protests, and so there is actually a chance that I could have the coronas, but I hope it's not gonna be serious. Here we have the liquor shop. The liquor shop. Взема още една загорка. Една загорка. Да. Голямо кенче. Да. Аз мисля... 1,50. Oh my god, the gimbal. Yeah, there's almost no chance of it being serious to me, so... See. Ciao. And I never got the flu vaccine, and I've never have any flu, when they... Maybe I have had, I don't know, I don't even remember, maybe I have had some symptoms, a little bit cold, but the flu never did anything to me, It's actually pretty bad to talk about this. Let me knock on my head 3 times, because, people that talk about this, they're just asking for karma, to hit them, they talk shit, so I'm not gonna talk about Corona hitting me because then it's just gonna happen and it's gonna be really bad. So fuck the Coronas. I've never tasted Corona beer. I really want to taste. They have it here somewhere. Yeah, you need to knock on wood, but if you don't have wood, you can also knock on your head. It's the same, basically. If there's no wood close to you, it is acceptable to knock on your head also. That's scientifically proven, basically. So that's what my mother told me. And she's basically as close to a scientist that you can get without being a scientist. The lime is light beer that tastes. Yeah, I talked about this, that I believe in karma, I believe in karma. So there is some force that's bigger than us, but it's not God as we know him, from the Bible or from the Quran or from the Talmud or whatever, or from the Jehovah's Witnesses explanation. God is something we cannot explain, it's not a God as such, it's not somebody you need to worship and to pray to. God is just the natural laws, basically, and karma laws and things like that. It's more than that, but it's something you cannot explain, basically. So God is not, a figure of a person somewhere watching over us. No, I have an education, It's not exactly college. It's I went to business school, basically. So I have an education. I am educated, not well educated, but I can educate myself more on the internet in a week than I can in school for a year. So it's pretty dumb, an education, it doesn't get you very far, only in some cases if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer and things like that, where you have to have the education to do that profession, But if you just want to be smart, you can just use the internet, basically, you don't need all kinds of a formal education, sitting 4 years at a school and learning a little bit every day, You can learn it in a couple of weeks on the internet, what you're learning for years in one of these lame schools. Yeah, satisfaction. That's also what I saw, education is basically for really, really dumb people that, where does education come from? Education comes from someone that learned it before you, without the first person, he learned it without any education. And he's educating other people, and he's passed the education on to other people, and they have passed it on to other people, and millions of times, and then somebody is passing the education on to you. But the first person, he learned it himself. So education is for people that, they are really dumb, and they need a structured way to learn something and to get it force-fed into their brain, But education, it's not if you are like a well-thinking person. You have the internet nowadays. Once upon a time when there wasn't internet, then maybe you could say that, education is important. But nowadays, if you want a good job, education will not help you, only if it's in some specific fields like doctors or lawyers, for example. But if you want a good job, you need experience. So if you can climb to, you cannot take any education that will make you a director of a company. So if you can climb the ladder and become a director, and you have that on your CV, I was the director of Google, then nobody will ask for your education. Do you think when the CEO of Google is looking for a new job, that people will ask him, show your education papers? Nobody gives a fuck about his education papers. He just has to show our CEO of Google, and that's it. He climbed up to become a CEO, and that's the only thing he needs from there. Nobody will ever ask him about his education papers, and he will get a higher salary than any of you out there will ever get. So education, it's just for real dumb people, basically, to have it structured learning and getting force feed with this information that you can learn yourself. And if you can manage to climb the ladder to a specific position, then you can always get a similar position. And nobody, all the jobs I've worked in Bulgaria, nobody have asked for my education papers. Nobody gives a fuck. I just show that I have worked in a similar position before this, and that's all they want to know. They don't care what I was educated. It doesn't matter when it's your first job. Then they ask you for your education papers. But after your first job, nobody is asking for your education papers. Nobody cares. It doesn't make you better in any way that you have some specific education. What matters is your work experience, Yeah, education is indoctrinating you into the system, becoming a good worker, learning to wake up every day and things like that. But to get a good job, you basically need some experience, The first job is the hardest, But if you can find a job and climb the ladder to something high, even if your salary isn't high, if you can climb to director and they don't raise your salary, then do it just to get it on your CV. I was a director here. And then you look for new jobs and you say, I was a director here. And then you just say, what salary you want, and you go from there. And they will not ask for your education or anything. See, the real trick is negotiating your salary. It's very tricky, and I'm actually very good at negotiating salary. I made it my specialty, so everywhere I worked, I got the highest salary from everyone around me. All the people doing the same jobs as me, I got the highest salary of all of them. And it's simply because I know how to negotiate salary, and that's very important that you learn that, the way you negotiate salary. The biggest mistake that people make when they're negotiating salary is they ask, what is the salary? That's gonna give you the lowest salary possible. You should never ask what salary you're gonna get. That's an absolute no-no. So when you come into the job interview and they ask you, they usually give you the chance to be smart, and they ask you, what salary do you want, or what salary do you expect? And most people, they say, what salary do you offer me? Some people, they don't know, they just say, some people think they are smart, and think they are negotiating when they say, what can you offer me? But if you say to them, what can you offer me, they will always give you the lowest possible number, You're not smart, you're not negotiating. It's not called negotiating when you say, what can you offer me? It doesn't work. They will give you the absolute minimum, that they're willing to give. So when you negotiate, you always have to have a number in mind and just come in strong and stay there. I have tried where I say a very high salary and they say, no, we cannot give it to you, bye, and then I just walk off. Then they call me a week later and say, listen, man, we really like you, man, can we do this somehow? And then I say, no, you don't want to fulfill my salary requirements, So, and then say, okay. And then 1 week later, they call me and say, okay, what do you want? And I tell them the same number again. And they say, okay, come on. And that's the way you do it. That's one work I'm talking about. They called me with 3 weeks in between a couple of times, tried to press me to go for a lower salary, and in the end they asked me to see if I'm serious, and in the end they asked me, okay, what do you want? So that's the way you do it, basically. I'm not using a camera, I'm using a phone on a gimbal. I'm using a Redmi 8 telephone on a gimbal, and I have another phone also that's showing me the chat. I can try to show you here once we go in the light. I think I can find a way to show you actually. Yeah, I right now I have it connected to my power bank, but usually I can stream for around 5 hours without connecting it. For 5 hours without connecting it. So I could stream to tomorrow if I wanted to. I have so many power banks, so I could just keep going. I have 4 power banks. So the deep state cannot stop me when I run out of power, because I have a lot of power. So I'm on my way home, but there's no buses because of the corona crisis, the corona pandemic. They have turned off the night buses, so I have to walk all the way home. It's pretty lame actually. Let me just take a quick piss here. And let me disconnect my power bank because it's charged pretty much. It's charged enough to keep going for a couple of hours. This is one of my power banks. I'm always carrying a couple, just in case. I keep them in these socks here. so they don't crash around in each other. I'm getting pretty drunk. I have to piss really hard. Wow, you guys should see this fountain here I'm pissing. Oh, amazing. That was amazing. Bad Red Fox, there were like 50 Bulgarians today watching. But that was at the protest. And yeah, when I leave the protest, a lot of them go away. Nice. You're from Sofia. We have a couple from Sofia watching at least. Some of them, there are also Bulgarians from other countries watching. We have a Bulgarian in Germany, Bulgarian in USA, and some other countries also. A lot of them are not talking in chat usually, so a lot of them are just watching and not talking at all. You have to remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel here. Едно пикане, половин ебане, ама две не правят чао. Едно пикане, половин ебане, No, we don't have that in Denmark. I don't even understand what it means. The Gorga is very good, much better than Danish beer actually. Because I grew up in Denmark, so I grew up from very little in Denmark, so much of my mentality, it's Danish basically. My Bulgarian is a little bit crooked even. So you can hear there's something wrong with my Bulgarian when I speak sometimes. And it's because I grew up in Denmark basically. Yeah, I missed the Bulgarian childhood. I had a whole different childhood in Denmark than the people here. And it's completely different, the childhood there than the one people have there, because, in Denmark I was a foreigner, so it's like, in Bulgaria you grew up in your home country, and most people in the school were Bulgarians. But, I grew up in Denmark, and at the time when I was in school, there were a lot of immigrants also, so most of my friends in Denmark, they were from all kinds of countries, My first best friend was from Pakistan, so I have a lot of mixed friends from all over the world, they live in Denmark, but they originate from all over the world. So I have a lot of mixed influences from, from people from all over the world, while, if I grew up in Bulgaria, all my influences would be Bulgarian traditions, Bulgarian culture, and things like that. I have none of that, So it has been a lot of different than all of your of the way you grew up. This is the new metro station. It's not open yet. This is Vasilevsky. This is the Vladimir Vazov metro station at the start of Vladimir Vazov after the Moschevdal. But it's not working yet, so we're just watching it. And a lot of my good friends in Denmark, they were actually Arabs, many of my very good friends were Arabs. Some were Turks, also a lot of Turks also. Because, when I grew up there, we were foreigners, and the thing we had in common, the thing we all had in common was that we were foreigners in Denmark, So that kind of creates a bond between different races, where, in Bulgaria, I have a friend that's also kind of like me here that I knew from work, but generally I don't know any foreigners, and unless I met them at work or something like that. But the foreigners, they usually know each other. They meet, they have the similarities that they both are foreigners, so they kind of have something in common there. So it's pretty interesting the ways, you mix with other foreigners, because they are also foreigners, and you become friends around that. I think my favorite Bulgarian beer is the Ledena, the Pirinsku Ledena. It's very good Ledena beer. It comes in so smooth inside you, and I think it's very tasty, that Ledena beer. I don't think I'll be at the protest because it's probably gonna rain tomorrow, and I cannot stream when it's raining, and the protests are not gonna be that big if it's raining. So if it's not raining, I'm gonna be there, but else I'm gonna wait till it stops raining. So probably on Monday I'm gonna be there again. Yeah, there is some discrimination against foreigners, but there are also some very good people in Denmark. There are some amazing good people. So there are also a lot that discriminate. But I don't know how it is in Bulgaria. Because I'm not in the same way a foreigner. Even in some ways, I am, because mentality-wise and things like that. But people cannot see that I'm a foreigner. I look like a Bulgarian, so I am Bulgarian actually, but in some ways, I feel sometimes like a foreigner. I don't feel connected to much of the things that people do here. So much of the traditions and things like that, I barely celebrated any of that. So it's kind of foreign to me, much of the things here. And it is kind of strange. In Denmark I'm a foreigner, in Bulgaria I'm also a foreigner. I'm talking about mentally, I'm a foreigner everywhere. So really I don't belong anywhere. There's nowhere that's like mine, where I really feel, this is mine, this is my home. I feel it here, but I also feel it in Denmark. When I'm here, I can feel that. So it's strange. I cannot explain it actually. But I think it kind of enriches me, because if I only knew the Bulgarian culture, then I would just be one of 5 million Bulgarians. But this way I feel kind of more unique, and more special. So I don't dislike it, I find it, I like it, I kind of feel special with it, special skills or special I think the protests, the main thing I like about them is that they bring me a lot of viewers. I get like a lot of viewers when I'm at the protest. I get like 50 to 100 viewers. So that's really great. But personally I think it's kind of boring, because I'm used to much wilder protests in Denmark. There were much more crazy protests, and here they are not, I like to have some content to film, more wild content, and it's not really content, it's a little bit boring, I think, when I'm used to much wilder, demonstrations where people throw Molotov cocktails and things like that, so it's kind of a little bit boring to me, to be honest. Yeah, but I know, but on one hand, I don't feel that these protests will change anything. On the other hand, no matter what you do, even if you throw Molotov cocktails, it will also not change anything. So I don't really know what, but I'm just speaking from a point of view that it's kind of boring when people just scream, "Oh Stavka, oh Stavka." It's, Boyko Borisov doesn't care. He doesn't care about, he can just sit at home and watch a movie, and people even clean up after themselves. They clean up all the streets, and when Boyko comes next day to work, all the streets are clean. Nothing is, so why should Boyko care about the protests? It's like, even it's like 60,000 people, there's still like over 5 million people left that's not protesting. So it's kind of boring, it's too little people and there's too little action. If there were a lot more people, they would just be able to walk in and take the parliament, for example. But I don't think this is gonna change anything. Yeah, he does not care. He's just pretending right now. From time to time, he says, "Should I resign or should I not?" He's just pretending he cares. He's not even watching the protest. I'm pretty sure he's just watching a movie, drinking some alcohol, and he doesn't care at all. It's, if people were protesting in front of his house every night, 50,000 people, then he would care more. But he's not even watching the protests. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even watch them. He don't even care. Sometimes he's saying things like he cares, but it's just fake. He doesn't even watch them. He don't care. Yeah, but the thing is, if you storm the parliament, will it really change anything? I'm not really sure that even that will change anything. Maybe it could make him step down, but it will not change the system as such. I'm not really sure what would change the system, but it's not happening anytime soon. These protests are not going to lead to some kind of change in system, because it is controlled by bankers, by America, by the European Union, by the Bilderberg Group, by all these New World Order guys. So for me, the problem is the system as a whole, the capitalistic system. I think it's the problem. It will always be controlled by financial interests. It will always be controlled by Masons, by bankers, by Bilderbergers, by people in the shadow. Boyko doesn't control as much as you think. He's basically a pawn for big businesses, for things like that. The problem for me is the system, a whole is very wrong. He is a mafioso. He is these days. He is a corporate scenes. They're controlled by big companies, by banks, by all kinds of hidden groups. Bilderbergers. Sometimes he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't even know who's controlling him. So there is. I think it's a system problem, For example, in North Korea, who is in charge. It's Kim Jong-un that's in charge. But in Bulgaria, it's not Boyko Borisov, and you don't even know who's in charge. It's impossible to know, who's in charge. It's a combination of businesses and all kinds of things that are in charge. It's not transparent. You're not sure who is in charge really, and that is the problem. You can change the leaders, but it's still the same people that are in charge. There are some people, whether you call it the deep state, the shadow government, there are some people. They're not always in government or in the state. There are some people that are controlling things, but you don't even know who these people are. You're not sure. You can guess that, for example, Lukoil controls some things, or you can guess that some big company controls some things, but you're not really sure who controls things. For sure, it's not Boyko. Boyko, he doesn't control things. He's just a bodyguard. He's just a pawn for the system. But they are also, all of them are controlled, by big capital. The Canadian president, all the European countries, it's the same. In America, it's the same. Do you think Trump is in charge? Trump is not in charge in America. People gave him billions to run his campaign, These are the people that are in charge, some of these people that gave all this money. And it's not transparent. You don't know who has how much, who's in charge, You don't really know who's in charge, and you cannot kill the system or the government because they're not in charge. This is someone else in charge. And even if you change the government, it will still be the same people in charge, behind the scenes. And we don't know exactly who these people are, we kind of live in the 90s again. It is becoming the 90s, it seems. I didn't live here, so I don't know exactly, but I know more or less, what it is with the mafia and all that. But but some people are happy with the country, There are a lot of people getting rich of Boyko, You can see every day people riding in nice cars, have big businesses. A lot of people are very happy with Boyko. So So some people are feeding off of this, and some people, they like him a lot. I don't really know, because I'm not rich. I'm not in any position to, if I was that smart, I would probably be a millionaire now, but I'm not, so I don't really know anything. It's hard to pretend you're some kind of expert when really, if you were that smart, you would probably be rich and be exploiting the system and things like that. So I'm just talking shit, in the end I really don't know anything. If I knew, then I wouldn't be walking around here at 3 o'clock at night and drunk and talking shit, Then I would be at my big house with lots of bitches and things like that. The interesting thing is that the leaders, the leaders of the countries, like Trump, like Boyko, and generally, I don't know all the leaders, what people think of them, but don't all leaders in whatever your country are, in whatever your country you are in, don't they seem really dumb? They don't seem smart. When you think about it, you always think that you are smarter than them, When you look at, for example, the Bulgarian Prime Minister, you think he's really dumb and I'm much smarter than him, But he is the Prime Minister and you are not. And the same with that he seems really, really dumb, But he's the president and you are not. So what I'm getting to is it's actually a very smart thing to do, The smart people, the dumb people, they want to seem smart and show they're smart. But the really, really smart people, they want people to underestimate them, They want people to think he's really dumb, this guy, Because that way they can go under the radar, and they can manipulate you more because you think he's dumb, he's too dumb, But in fact, they are actually really, really smart. But the really smart people, they always play really, really dumb. I don't know if you have noticed this, but really, if you see very successful people and things like that, you will see that they always play very, very dumb. Really rich people, they play very dumb, most of the time. Because they win by playing dumb, it's kind of if he's too smart, then if he seems too smart, then he will have a harder time cheating people and manipulating them. But if he seems dumb, but in fact is very smart, his manipulations go under the radar and he has an easier time manipulating people because they think he's not that smart. But actually he's very smart, very calculating, and he knows what people think, But you think he's very dumb, but he's actually very smart. He knows that you think he is dumb, and that's the way he manipulates people, I've noticed that with very rich people, they have this thing they all seem very dumb, you know. They actually play very dumb, you know. They play very dumb, but they cannot be dumb. They're actually very smart, you know. It's just some kind of facade, you know. They're dumb. It makes you put your guards down when they play dumb, you know. So they can easily get to you. Hello, NorCal. I'm on my way home. This has been a very long stream. It's a continuation of the former stream. I had to change my connection, so I've been out for many hours. It's a continuation of the former stream, so a lot longer. But I've been out 9, 10, 11, 12, 2. I've been out for at least 6 hours, I think, streaming. I proved today that the earth was flat, you know. Yeah, I'm soon home, so I'm gonna sleep soon. I'm gonna walk the dogs first, and afterwards I'm gonna sleep. I'm almost home. A red fog, but I have already proved it today 2 times. I have proved it beyond any doubt today. 2 times I have proved it. I have shown scientific evidence to the stream, and it is completely proven. Were you there when I proved that the earth is flat, or do you want me to prove it again? You want me to prove it? Okay, I can prove it to you right now, actually. So, are you ready to get your mind blown? See, I only need this bottle to prove it for you. You know, this is the proof that the earth is flat. This is the only thing I need to prove that the earth is flat. Do you know why? It's kind of a little bit dark here, but I hope you can see it. You can see here, it's going down here, and it's curving. This bottle is curving. Can you see it's curving? It's a little hard to see, but look at my finger, how curving it is. So this bottle is curved, but look at the water. The water is completely flat. Look, the water is completely flat. So, if this is the earth, you know, the earth is curving here. Why is the water not curving around the earth? So this is the problem here. The water is still flat. You can see the water is flat. The thing is that water does not curve. Water cannot curve. It cannot curve. You can see here the bottle is curved. Can you see the bottle? It's curved, but the water is flat. So what this means, if the earth was curved, then the water would just continue outside of the earth. So the water does not curve. So when you see pictures of the earth and you see water curving, it's not possible. Look, it's not possible. The water is completely flat. It's always flat. It has nothing to do with the waves, you know. It has nothing to do with the waves, because it doesn't matter if there's waves or not. The water still does not curve as a whole. So even if there is a wave, it can't. The water, it doesn't make sense that the water is curved. The one thing you have to realize is that there is not one picture of the earth online. There's not one real picture of the earth. Type in earth on Google Images and look. It's not real. Look at the picture. You can see it's lighting. They have added lighting. If you look close, you can see that the picture, it's computer generated. It's not a picture. And even NASA has admitted that all the pictures of Earth, they actually manipulate them. Not manipulate. They change. They add clouds. They do it so the picture seems more real. They say if they took a picture of Earth, it would not seem real. You know. They say it would not seem real, the picture of Earth, so they have to manipulate it so it seems real. That's their reason. But if you write Earth on Google Images and look, not one picture is real. You can actually see it. If you know computer graphics, you can see it's not a real picture. It's actually manipulated. Yes, it's good you said. Look, listen, Red Fox. Go to YouTube. You know, I'm gonna end the stream in 30 minutes. Go to YouTube and search for flat Earth zoom test. Okay? What you're gonna see, I'm gonna explain to you what you're gonna see. You're gonna see people. They are seeing ships going out of the horizon. They are seeing ships going out of the horizon. They are disappearing. You know, the ships are disappearing out of the horizon. You know what happens? You think they are disappearing outside of the horizon. But you look at YouTube Flat Earth Zoom. You search for that term. And you will find people that after the ships have gone out of the horizon, they are totally invisible because they have left the horizon. They take a camera with a very high zoom rate and they zoom in. And you know what? The ships, they reappear. They reappear. They don't disappear over the horizon. If you have enough zoom, you can see over the horizon, and it doesn't make sense if it was a horizon, because you see ships disappear over the horizon, but if you zoom in with a very high zoom camera, the ships, they reappear. They are not over the horizon. It's just the way perspective works, the field of vision. It works in a way where things disappear when they are very long away. But if you have a zoom camera, you can still see them. You can see from here to America if you had enough zoom, you know. Yes, we did go to space. The Russians went to space, and America, they faked the moon landing, because they were in the war with the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union came first to space. They had the first manned space flight. They had the first round trip around Earth and things like that. So America, suddenly they were at the moon. It's not real, the moon landing. And I have seen a documentary about it, a really high-level documentary, not some conspiracy documentary, where they have talked to people in the American government and they have admitted that it was just a hoax. It was because of the war with the Soviet Union, and they had to win this war, so they made the space landing. The only reason they made the space landing was to defeat the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was miles ahead of America, and suddenly America lands on the moon. So that's the only reason they did it, to win over America in the space, in the war for minds, for superiority when they had these wars with the Soviet Union. Yes, they had to cheat. Exactly, they had to cheat, and that's it. Simply, that's the reason. They're not. Many people think there are a lot of other. That is the reason. It was the Soviet Union, and that was the times back then, and that's why they did it. And I think actually they never landed on the moon. Never. It's never happened. The first moon landing was for sure a hoax, 100%. But I also think that they never landed there, because they have destroyed all the technology and they cannot land again. They don't have the technology to land again. So it doesn't make sense. NASA has admitted that they don't have the technology to land on Earth. And then they found out about, the Van Allen radiation belt. And now NASA is saying they cannot go to the moon because of the Van Allen radiation belt would kill anyone trying to go to the moon. But they did it magically 3 times. So it doesn't make sense, I think they never went to the moon. Never, ever. Yes, if you could zoom. When I end the stream, then spend some time and look at some flat earth zoom videos. And they zoom across the water and they see cities. Cities that they know these cities would be beyond the horizon, but they use very high zoom cameras and they can still see these cities. They can still see these cities that they're supposed to not be able to see, because the horizon would be they have calculated, they have seen on the map there are like 2,000 kilometers. The Earth should have it should have been below the horizon, but if they have enough zoom, they can still see the cities. So in theory you could zoom for Bulgaria to America. There are some other factors that play in why you cannot zoom to there. But in theory, it's completely flat. And take a look at some of these flat earth zoom tests. It's pretty interesting. They zoom in at things that could be below the horizon, but they manage to see them. They zoom into other cities that's supposed to be way below the horizon. They have calculated, the length and the curvature of the Earth, and they should be way below the horizon, and even then they can see them. So no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't see the sky. You take a look at some of these zoom tests, it's gonna amaze you. Yes, you exactly, you see more buildings and stuff. Yes, you don't see sky. You would see sky if the earth was round, but the fact of the matter is that if you keep zooming, you keep seeing cities and things like that. If you see someone that is zooming enough, then they keep seeing, cities and they don't see sky. So there is a lot of scientific proof that the earth is flat, and there is almost none, maybe none, that the earth is round. And that's the case here. The thing is, when you grew up at first grade, do you remember when you came at first grade in school? The first thing you saw in school was a little globus. At first grade, every kid, the first thing you see when you come into a new school, wow, a globus, and they have a globus with the earth. So your mind gets trained from the first grade with the globus. It's just a fact. You know it from first grade. No need to discuss this. It's a fact. It's from first grade. You know this. You're not every idiot knows this. You came to school, first grade. First grade classroom always has a globe. There's always a globe there. It's the first thing you see when you come into a new classroom and you see this globe, And the mind is conditioned to this round earth. I'm not crazy. I know that the earth might be round, but it is very possible that it could be flat also. So I don't know, if it's flat or if it's round, but I believe it could be flat, but I'm not completely retard, and say it's 100% flat, I don't know, but it is very possible, very, very possible that it's flat. So there should be some real scientific studies done by scientists, and they deny to do it. They don't want to. They know from first grade, that the world is round. So they just think of it as retarded, and they don't want to. I just have to take a quick piss. 1 second. So, the thing is, there is, the flat earth, how does the end work? The end is actually Antarctica, and it makes totally sense. Antarctica is not, as they say, it's in one place. Antarctica is all around the world, it's all around Antarctica. It's actually an ice wall around the world. And if you look at flight patterns, if you look how people fly, how planes fly, they never fly. It doesn't make sense. They always take the longest route when they are going over the North or the South Pole. I'm not really sure how it is. But I have read all these theories. If you look at flight paths, they never go over the Antarctic, because that is actually the end. They never go over. And there is so much here. The evidence is so... It is... the flat earth theory, you cannot come with anything. Whatever you say, whether does the end... it's a complete theory, It's totally complete. From whatever you throw at it, there's scientific evidence why it is like that. If you look deep enough, the way I looked at flat earth is I thought it was a joke, like everybody else, everybody that went into flat earth, they do it because they think it's a joke, and they do it to disprove it or to laugh at it, And that's what I did. I thought, wow, flat earth, that's really funny. Let me laugh a little bit about it. And then I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, wow. And whatever you come up with, it's a complete theory, Everything, there's scientific proof. There's so much proof of everything. So I'm telling you, look at it, just to disprove it. I'm drunk right now. I'm not in the state of whatever you throw at it. Look at the end of the world. Look at the flight paths. Look at things. Look at one of these long documentaries about flat Earth, just to disprove it. And I'm telling you, you will become a flat earther. Every flat earther is someone who tried to disprove it. So, and that's the same with me, basically. The 90-degree theory, I don't know about that. What is the 90-degree theory? Turn 90 degrees. 180 is behind you, so so 180 is behind you, so 90 is if I turn right now, turn right, and then I turn right again, then I will end up close to where I started. That doesn't make any sense, So if you turn right 2 times, you will end up exactly where you started. That doesn't make any sense. Even if the earth is round, you know, that doesn't make any sense. Hvad? Hvad? Min jakke, det kom 2 hele. Da. My dog? I don't have a dog. I have 3 dogs, not 1 dog. I have 3 dogs. So I'm going home to the dogs now. This guy was amazed. He had never seen a vlogger before. He said, "Wow, amazing. A real vlogger with cameras." It was actually pretty funny how amazed he was. He was talking to somebody and then he saw me, "Wow, a vlogger, wow, and he has cameras," and he started explaining to his friends, "Wow, a real vlogger. That's like amazing camera equipment." But you're talking about a hypothetical situation, you know, just something. Imagine, you know, nobody has proven nobody has proven that, you know. You're talking about walking 100,000 kilometers in one direction. That someone has done that on the globe model and said you end up in the same place. But it's not. It's just a thought experiment, you know, based on the globe model. It's not something that's actually been proven, you know. Nobody has proven that walking 100,000 miles or flying 100,000 miles, turning right 100,000 miles, and ending up in the same place. Nobody has done that. So it's just some fake experiment, you know, a thought experiment. It's not been done, it's not been proven, you know, it's not science. It's just pseudoscience, basically. And that's what much of the round earth things, they're actually pseudoscience, you know, they're not proven. They're just theories based on the model, but they have not been proven in reality because nobody puts in the energy to prove the earth is round. It's just stupid, you know, because they know that the earth is round, so they wouldn't put any energy or money or anything to prove it, you know. So none of it has been proved actually. I'm pretty sure it's not proven. But guys, actually, it was really fun today. We had a lot of fun also in the previous stream, so if you haven't watched it, that you can watch that also. But I'm getting very close to home, so I have to turn off now and go home. And I have to walk the dogs, my 3 dogs. I don't know if I will come back to Denmark. I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not really... I don't know where my life will take me, you know. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. But I don't have any plans, you know, to go back to them. But it could happen someday. Who knows? But yeah. But guys, thank you very much for joining in. It was very fun today. We proved that the earth is flat and a lot of other things. We busted the police sleeping in very expensive hotels. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys probably not tomorrow, but on Monday when it stops raining. I'm gonna be at the protests again. So thank you very much. If I come to Denmark, I will drink a whiskey with you. And see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.